Good afternoon, all viewers, listeners, by whatever means. Welcome to this another briefing of the NEOC and the COVID-19 Task Force. And thank you, Mr. Williams. On Saturday, 7th November, we would have experienced the arrival of our first major commercial flight, that is the AA318. The flight would have landed in St. Kitts at approximately 3:17 p.m. and would have reached on its block at 3:21 p.m. The Ministry of Health would have received the first passenger at about 3:28 thereabout. At the screening point, we would have averaged approximately 1.1 minute for each passenger. So at the screening point, it would have taken approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes to screen all 81 passengers. And I think this was impressive, as we will ensure that this will increase. So, the time will decrease to ensure we have a more smoother process. The last passenger would have entered the health screening area at about 4:23 p.m. It's important for us to monitor these timings to see the flow process and for us to improve this process going forward. The last passenger would have exited customs and boarded a taxi at approximately 5:50 p.m. on Saturday. So the arrival process took approximately 2 hours and 33 minutes from the entrance into the hall to the last taxi leaving with incoming passengers. And I want to commend the St. Kitts Tourism Authority for the thorough guidance and the thorough coordination of the ground transportation. There were a total of 29 taxis operating on Saturday. These were COVID-19 certified taxis that would have gone through the training process and would have retrofitted their vehicles to be able to be compliant and COVID-19 certified. And how do you know if a taxi is COVID-19 certified? They have a travel approved seal, which looks like a small suitcase with two dumbbells to the side. And this is the seal that is given by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority after the vehicle would have been inspected and validated for use for COVID-19, for high-risk passengers. So kudos to all of those operators. Now, those operators would have received an average of two jobs on Saturday, and the fares would have ranged from $16 to approximately $28 per person, and additional costs for baggage and animals, etc. The process was well coordinated. So now, from the health screening process, you would have gone to the immigration department, where the new form, the KNA travel form, is being utilized. So if a traveler did not complete the KNA travel form, then this traveler would have been processed using the old system. However, what the KNA travel form does, it gives us the opportunity to filter individuals and allow the authorities to verify documentation process in a more efficient and quicker way. So I want to commend the Ms. Ophelia Blanchard and Travel Morris for the great work they did with the travel form. It's a critical tool that's going to help us in the fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. From the immigration area, which was one of the fastest stations on Saturday, persons would have then proceeded to the customs area. At the customs area, there was tremendous work done there for the retrofitting process. So no longer you will walk up to a customs officer and interact face-to-face. Customs officers are behind booth, and if there's a need for a secondary screening process where your luggage will be screened, then there's a particular area designed to protect the customs officer, protect the traveler, and your bags to be able to be screened safely. Upon exiting customs, then on the outside you are met by a dispatcher. So the dispatcher will meet you, you will queue if the line is already, if they're already engaged, and then a number will be given of the taxi operator that will take you to your destination, meaning your place of abode. And that receipt, the name of the taxi, the registration of the taxi, and the taxi fare will be listed as amongst other information on this receipt. So therefore, no one can actually overcharge, and the persons can understand that this is what you will pay for this trip. All this is a means of controlling. Remember, we kept talking about the corridor of containment. So this provides the opportunity to do traceability or contact tracing in the event that there is a potential outbreak or there is an outbreak. Now, I want to basically give you an idea of how the accommodation would have gone. So Four Seasons Resort on Nevis would have received 8 international visitors, while the Ocean Terrace Inn would have received 11 nationals. Wally Beach Resort would have received 4 nationals. Park Hyatt, 10 international visitors. Potworks on Nevis, which is a government-designated quarantine facility, 7 nationals. And the Royal St. Kitts Hotels would have received 10 nationals, 2 visitors, and 39 students would have returned. In those 39 students, we would have had students from the Ross University and other universities and our locals. So the total arrival of flights into St. Kitts and Nevis since our borders have opened, we have on St. Kitts arrival 35, departures 34. That's commercial flights. On Nevis, you would have had 30 arrivals and also 30 departures. For cargo flights from the 31st to the 9th of November, St. Kitts would have received 30 cargo flights inbound and 30 outbound. Cargo flights on Nevis, 12 inbound and 12 outbound. Therefore, the Federation would have experienced a total of 65 inbound commercial flights and 64 outbound. Again, 65 inbound and 64 outbound. And cargo, 42 inbound, 42 outbound cargo flights. We have been experiencing some heavy rains, and again I want to appeal to the general public to continue to be vigilant and monitor the weather notices that are being provided by our local Met office. And again, I want to thank Mr. Elmer Burke for his proactiveness and in ensuring that we receive the necessary vital information. St. Kitts and Nevis, and also along with the Leeward Island, is under a flood watch, meaning that flood conditions are possible. The rain will be continuing for the next 24 hours with the potential of us receiving 1 to 4 inches in the Leeward Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis included. Weather tonight, we have a 90% chance or a very high chance of periods of rains and a 30% chance of a low chance of thunderstorms. Please be vigilant, be mindful in traversing in known waterways or areas that are prone to flooding. Also, be mindful of areas that are prone to rock slides, such as the Old Road Bay area, or areas that are prone to landslides. It's very important that you don't park in these gutways or waterways overnight. You may wake up in the morning and find your vehicle somewhere else. Again, we want to appeal to the general public that now that our borders are open, you have to be more vigilant. Please ensure that you wear your mask, avoid social gathering, adhere to the protocols as outlined in the regulation. These are very critical for us to remain resilient. As we have seen in many other countries, once you open your borders, you open your borders to the virus entering the Federation. As yet, we don't know if any one of the 101 passengers or 102 passengers that have arrived will turn out to be a positive case. However, we are hopeful that all the systems and mechanisms put in place would be able to assist us in keeping St. Kitts and Nevis safe. I want to highlight one critical thing that we experienced over the weekend, on Monday, Tuesday, thereabout, is misinformation. I am appealing to all media houses to exercise responsible. At this point in time, we have done a good job in ensuring as it's popularly called, please ensure that you do your investigations. Feel free to contact the Ministry of Health, contact the National Emergency Management Agency, the police force, or other relevant agencies for vital and credible information before doing any reporting. Remember, at the end of the day, you are creating panic in the Federation. You are also affecting the product of St. Kitts and Nevis as a safe haven and as a very good tourism product. So therefore, I am appealing that we do our best to ensure that we fight against the virus, but most importantly, against misinformation. It calls for responsible journalism, responsible information sharing. I also want to appeal to the business places. I want to appeal to the business places to continue the enforcement. The compliance teams are out in their numbers, they are doing their job, and we need you to be supportive of their efforts. Please ensure you have your sanitizing agents. Please ensure you have your markings in place. Please ensure you have the necessary signage whereby you indicate to the general public, in particular your customers, what is required for you to access your services. Also, safeguard your staff and safeguard your customers. And by extension, you're safeguarding the country. Thank you very much, and I do look forward for your cooperation.